Thank you. I'm just trying to get the David Donahue shirt. You're all best work.
I do. I don't take the thing, it's good cookies.
Wait, hey, what is this? Yeah, I did.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Shiva has it noted.
Hang out.
Yep. That's the one.
How are you?
You mentioned, yeah, so it's like, I think this one's a no. And this one's a no, and he'll explain the reason. Everything else is. Yep. Yeah, I think too. What about this one? We're not gonna get out of it. It's legitimate. It's not exactly initially, but I don't take these lists. It is.
Well, I'm in the.
Mostly, but.
No.
I don't know. It was the process.
There's a. There's a seat, there's a seat. It's like the dean. This is sort of. That's the one, which is just.
That's fair.
I think so works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like this. They go away soon.
No, no.
That we were gonna hand out. I watched it all. That's a very. Yeah. No.
Where should I?
Use something. We're watching just. Yeah.
Well, good evening, everyone. Let's start the meeting with the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Supervisor Wilson. Here. Trustee Oppenheimer.
Here.
Trustee Pace.
Here.
Trustee Shaw.
Here.
Trustee Spears. Here. Thank you. Motion to approve minutes of the April 14, 2026 regular township board meeting.
Motion.
Second?
Are there any notes or corrections to those? Yes. Supervisor Wilson got it. Yes. Trustee Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Trustee Pace.
Yes.
Trustee Shaw.
Yes.
Trustee Spears. Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Need a motion to recess the regular township board meeting.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now convening the sewer board meeting, move to approve the Northfield Township sanitary sewer system bills and claims for April 2026.
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion on those? Roll call, please. Supervisor Wilson Gonner. Yes. Trustee Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Trustee Pace.
Yes.
Trustee Shaw.
Yes.
Trustee Spears. Yes. The motion passes. Thank you. Is there any old business, Walt?
Just new business. I do have a tentative date for the first week of June to do the remaining, smoke testing of the sanitary. then we'll send out letters and contact those who want to do prior to that, so that everybody's notified that it'll be present.
Thank you. Do we know roughly how many households?
Ooh. I know that's only like 1,400
Okay.
feet, so it's 40 homes, 30 homes.
Thank you very much. Nothing else. Move to adjourn the sewer board meeting.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. We're returning to the regular board meeting. The board is still present as previous. Thank you. Move to approve the Northfield Township Town Fund bills and claims for April 2026.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion on those? Supervisor Mosenza? Yes. Trustee Oppenheimer?
Yes.
Trustee Pace?
Yes.
Trustee Chat?
Yes.
Trustee Spears? Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Move to approve the Northfield Township Road and Bridge Fund bills and claims for April 2026.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion on those?
I'll note one thing, there's an expense this month for some AI related stuff. There was an account opened, for Claude, and it was, opened in a personal email of the commissioner. So I asked him to, get that resolved. We've had some issues with personal mixing on the road district side, so I wanted to make sure that that was flagged, and he did say that, he would fix it. I'd really appreciate it if at this point we weren't dealing with that anymore, but here we are, so we'll continue to be vigilant and keep looking at it. I also wanted to open the floor to Attorney Seckler to speak about two of the potential expenses here that we may not be able to approve because the claim from the road district is that there is an emergency situation that requires us to not have a bidding process, and that's tenuous at best. Attorney Seckler, can I turn that to you?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was,
And these relate, just right off these relate to the road district building at 237 Melvin Drive in Northbrook.
Correct.
sure, I was asked to review and opine about two proposed requested expenditures in particular. One to, regarding an engagement with L. Marshall concerning roof repair matters, and the other to SLS Electric Service contract and as a purported service provider, and professional service contract regarding electrical work. The first, I don't have the invoice or the proposed agreement or whatever, some of the back, and so I'm going based off of purely what was in the correspondence and explanation. But regarding L. Marshall, I don't know the amount. I assume that this was for over $30,000 because or else we wouldn't be talking about bid requirements, but it was proposed that that this expenditure and this contract would be entered into without competitive bidding because it's a purported emergency. And it was cited that that this is somehow a professional service. I don't have enough evidence to say one way or the other, but it's regarding roof construction. So it makes me skeptical as to whether or not this would be a professional service that would be exempt from bidding under the highway code and similar language is within the township code. Professional services being like attorneys, auditors, et cetera, as well as architecture and engineering, but those are subject to a different type of bidding statute, the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act, which the township is aware of, because we had to go through, if you recall, for the construction of the pantry space, we had to do an architectural bid, and it's just a special type of process. And that has a higher threshold requirement, that dollar amount, because it's automatically adjusted by inflation. But again, I don't know the numbers and what the scope of this agreement truly entails. I'm just, based on the nature of the contract, I assume it has to do with construction and maintenance and repairs. There was also cited legislation that was passed, signed in August of 2025, effective January 1st, 2026, that does require certain roof repairs and upgrades for first responders. And that is a real law. It does exist and was recently, relatively recently signed. There's no explicit penalty in it. It's more of a code enforcement issue, and I'm unaware of any village or the county. I believe the road district buildings within incorporated Northbrook. So if the village of Northbrook is threatening to, issue citations or anything against them because they haven't fixed the roof in time, it would be a little strange given that this law just went into effect and that being enforcing, but it's not for something else. So we don't have any of that information. So that just citing that this law now exists doesn't itself create an emergency either. And furthermore, I believe that there was an inspection done in late May, or early June of 2025 that revealed most of these issues that need to be repaired. So how from that time to now this became an emergency is unclear. And then on top of that, the road district's bidding requirements, competitive bidding requirements are pretty modest. I'd say they require 10 days of published notice, whereas other entities have to have 30+ days of required, so that take a lot long. So the amount of time spent just trying to say that this is an emergency, it seemed that in that amount of time could have just gone out to bid, and maybe this was the best bidder or only bidder anyways, but at least follow the procedures in the township approved an agreement or approved expenditures. But right now, the township board has a financial oversight of obligation, and this is the only obligation that an oversight role that the township board has over the road district at this point, which is if there's a valid contract, we have to approve the expenditure. The issue here is that there's no valid contract. He has to have followed the basics of the law to obtain these contracts. And so I can't recommend that you approve that expenditure because you're approving as stewards of road district funds. You're telling the supervisor as the treasurer to sign the check when there's no valid warrant or basis to issue the check. Without any further information, I can't recommend that you do that. Similarly with the electrical service, I think it was attempted to first say that this was a professional service, is not very clearly from the terms. I have that contract. It's a repair construction contract that's just labeled a professional service contract, which doesn't really make it one just because the title says it is. But it's to do electrical repairs. Again, this was based on an inspection done last year, about almost a whole year ago, in at least 10 months. How that now creates an emergency, an emergency is something that's imminent and sudden, unpredictable. It's something that, God forbid something like a natural disaster happens, or you have to do an immediate repair. Something goes terribly wrong that this needs to happen. A truck breaks down, right? And if it's snowing, you have to go do a repair right now because or else the things are getting caught. That's an emergency. The roof is, something's visibly wrong. There's something wrong with the building. That's an emergency. This is something that was inspected and done months ago and was waited on. So just because you've waited on something doesn't make it an emergency automatically. Without any further evidence or support in that regard, I also can't recommend that you approve that expenditure or that agreement. I don't see any valid exception to the formal competitive bidding. And again, your oversight role is exceptionally limited. I think the commissioner has stated many times that, he's an independent authority and can do what he wants. And this is the one limit. And if he must have a valid legal contract and have followed the legal process to ask for you to approve the bill. And the basic function is to audit and approve the bills. as long as he has the budget to pay for that proposed expenditure. Here, we don't have a valid legal contract, so I can't recommend that you approve that. And I would recommend that you can either remove those items and maybe postpone consideration of those items until a subsequent meeting, or if you reject those items, then we would have to give notice to the vendors as to why they were rejected pursuant to the Prompt Payment Act.
If, if we were to recommend a course of action to essentially get us back into regulatory compliance, what would that course of action look like?
But it would be, we would need regulatory compliance, meaning what? Meaning,
So that we can, you say we should not approve them because they don't meet the
Yeah.
emergency requirement because we didn't do the bidding. Would it just be going through the 10-day bidding process and then?
yeah, if there was, I mean, if he went through the bid process, that would be fine, and this was the low. It's his discretion to award the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, you know, and whatever standard that is. And again, it's even his, it is his judgment and as to whether it's an emergency. However, there still has to be some basis in fact for that to be based off of, right? Can't just, he gets to award the contract to what's at the lowest responsible bidder, but that doesn't mean he can just choose any bidder if he wants based on nothing. That opens the township and road district up to significant liability.
Right.
And similarly here, proceeding and the township approving these bills would open up to potential significant liability, because what happens if this is ever declared void because of it? And so if someone who wanted the contract and wasn't able to bid on it now and, or something, wanted to challenge it, wanted to challenge these expenditures, and now bonds are formed because of that. It's not a road we want to go down, so. If he was able to bring in documentation as to that the bid process was completed, great. And if he was able to, and that's why, or if he was able to bring in actual documentation of an actual emergency, like something new that wasn't known about, 10 months ago,
Sure.
that's something for this board to also look into. But at this time of information we have, that I have gotten, that's kind of what where we're at.
Got it. So it sounds to me like there's a fairly straightforward path here. We do not approve those tonight, and we recommend to the highway commissioner to go through the 10-day bidding process. And between now and the next board meeting, we can get rid of all that liability just by having him run through the regular process, right?
Right.
Okay.
And we know the township clerk who serves as the road clerk very well knows how to publish bids, bid packages, is very good at it.
Sure.
And it's a very basic process, but it just allows for a level of fairness and transparency that the law just requires.
Right.
Well, the highway commissioner also just spent $25,000 on iWork Q Systems Inc., which helps with all this, besides all the other software that is purchased to help streamline all these bidding processes and all these things. So it should be better difficult to go through the legal process to do this.
A quick question. Did you say we were missing an invoice on one of the, or a contract?
We have the invoices. I was able to review those, but I did not see the actual contracts. Yeah.
So this was May 2025 audit, is that right?
That was when the original inspection
Okay,
occurred, yeah.
and was that initiated then right after we
The
took office?
commissioner did an inspection of the building
Yes,
at 237 Melvin and presented the report about all the repairs and everything that he
I remember
done to
that.
the building. So that was last May. And last May and June, and he has just presented us. Actually, he just dropped off the check on line to sign it without even going through the board approval process for these contracts, saying that they were emergency. Based on a report that you received last May.
Can I ask a question? President, is the work already done?
Not to my knowledge, no, he apparently has
signed a contract, the commissioner has signed a contract with Soyfair Electric Contractors. And he was requesting a partial payment, or a down payment of $24,752.
So this is different than the case that we had earlier where work was already done before there was a legal agreement in place that allowed the road district to do the work for the high school district I'm talking about.
Right.
Where we, as a board, again, to make your point, we can't say that it's not something that we think should happen or that we think it's not necessary or that we're paying too much for it. The road district shouldn't be doing this. If it's legal and it's in budget, that's our job, is to make sure of that. And in the case of that earlier project with the high school, there was not an agreement in place that allowed us to pay for it. The work was already done. We waited for the agreement to be in place so that we could then end up paying the bill. In this case, thankfully, the work hadn't been done yet. We can wait until the legal process has gone through. So we can make sure that we're only paying for things that are valid, which is our one job, is to make sure we're only paying for things that are legal and valid, not our opinion, the law.
Trustee Shank, I understand some of the work may have started.
Okay. That makes it more complicated.
But that's not, that doesn't constitute an emergency, it just because like a standard.
No, but I don't know how it works to bid on something after work's already, still.
I don't know, would it be that we pay for the work that's been done and then go through the bidding process for the remainder?
Actually, yeah, something like that, but and see what they would charge for what, I don't know what they've done or haven't done yet. It's also on, the company should. Part of it, is a little bit on the company that you don't have, they have an agreement, but it's not approved or done correctly. We would, based on whatever the board does tonight, we can try to communicate to them. And let them know that they should probably not be continuing work if they are doing it.
Good.
I mean, not that it's our work to do,
Right.
but is this a organization, the electric firm, is that in the township?
No. The Soyfair Electric, I believe they're out of Lake Stewart. If I remember correctly.
I mean, not that it's, again, not our work to do. We could just reach out to them and say, do you have a contract? But for now, I would agree with council that we can't approve this.
So that I think the SLS has a contract, we have it, but doesn't mean that that's a valid contract because it wasn't awarded for such competitive bid. And it's couched as a reported professional service agreement, which makes no sense.
It's not a properly executed contract through the right process.
Right, yeah. It's void.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna, amend the motion to approve the, Northfield Township Road and Bridge Fund bills I planned for April 2026, excluding the bill for L Marshall in the amount of $17,840, and the bill for Soyfair Electric Contractors in the amount of $24,752.
Motion on that.
Second,
Supervisor Mostazade,
Yes.
trustee Oppenheimer,
yes.
trustee Pace,
Yes.
trustee Shaw,
Yes.
trustee Spears.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion to approve the engagement with the new independent audit firm and authorize supervisor to enter into a contract with said firm, Sheldon Fox, with a contract amount not to exceed $23,500 in year one, $24,500 in year two, and $25,500 in year three.
Motion.
Second,
I would like to thank trustee Oppenheimer and our county clerk, Sam Chandler, for the work they did. Our audit firm, previous audit firm informed us that they were no longer going to be doing audits, township audits. So, and they were quite delayed in doing our last one. So we had to go out to bid and get new, find the auditors. And Southern Fox was the lowest bidder.
And not only were they the lowest bidder, but we also confirmed we were comparing apples to apples, that they were gonna be doing the exact work that we had done today, both with the township and the food pantry. Making sure that the hours were going to be the same, so we don't have any surprises in the future. And then, of course, we wanted to make sure that, we did go out to bid. We had 3 firms respond. And as a result of the bid, I believe we were able to avoid paying more money than we would have had to otherwise. So it was a good engagement, good bidding process.
Thank you for all your due diligence on that. Any questions?
Supervisor Wilson voted.
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Shack.
Yes.
Trustee Spears.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consideration of which.
Think we're starting again.
So sorry, for item number 6 regarding the road bill, the 2 excluded items. I think there should be a board vote to either reject those bills or postpone consideration of those items to take formal action either way, whether we're gonna push them over to the next month as like proposed expenditures or just reject them outright at this point and say they're not valid expenditures because there's no valid contract.
Do either of those outcomes change the process going forward?
Not exactly, it's just, I think we would have an obligation to provide notice to the contractors immediately if we reject the bill.
If we, I ask if we reject them, but then they're found to be valid, they could be put back on for next month.
Yeah.
The same way that they were.
Right.
So it's just a matter of how we notify the contractors.
Right. I think if we reject them, it's formal, we have to provide a formal notice pursuant to the Prompt Payment Act to not have to pay interest.
Yeah, that sounds like.
So should we have a motion to reject? And provide an explanation why we are rejecting. Or should we postpone consideration?
Yeah, motion to reject.
I think it's good to let them know what's going on, so they can just be
Be
afraid
upfront
of the
about it.
situation. Yeah.
So going back to, item number 8 about the approval of Northern Bridge Fund bill, the bills of the follow-up to that, are making a motion to reject payment to L Marshall in the amount of $17,840 and payment to Swift Electric Contractors in the amount of $24,715 on the ground, and provide notice, to the service providers, for the reason why it's been rejected pursuant to the Prompt Payment Act.
Motion.
Second.
Supervisor Wilson voted.
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Shack.
Yes.
Trustee Spears. Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to item number on the agenda, motion to approve resolution 05-01-2026. A resolution authorizing the submission of a non-binding advisory public policy question to the electorate of Northfield Township regarding food pantry prepackaged meal possibilities at the general election to be held on November 3rd, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
So this is a non-binding referendum that it's advisory. We have a large number of senior citizens who use the food pantry, and we would like to get public opinion as to whether or not we should offer prepackaged meals. This is different from prepackaged groceries. So prepackaged meals, it's basically they take it home, heat and serve, because a lot of our seniors struggle with preparing food for themselves. So we're just getting public opinion on this. It's just an advisory, non-binding referendum for us to study the issue and see whether or not the food pantry has the capability, feasibility, of having this, prepackaged meals available if there's public.
Is this only going to be available to seniors or could it be anyone who qualifies?
Any food pantry residents, but normally it's, any food pantry client.
Yeah.
Yeah, but generally, it's people with disabilities and seniors who have more of a struggle with preparing their own meals.
Do we know if any of our neighboring food pantries or nearby ones are doing something like this?
I believe Oak Park Township has, I think once a week where they prepare hot meals for seniors. They have a larger space where seniors come and eat a hot meal there. There's also other options, Meals on Wheels. There's different options out there, but our food pantry clients who are already shopping and are there making this available to them, I believe would be convenient.
Sure.
Can add, I know this question's come up over the years, so we've been talking about different services we'd want to offer as a food pantry. And then the thought was that, well, we need the space to be able to do it, and now we have the space. What do we want to do with that space? I think it's one of the top questions that I think people would have for what the food pantry can be.
Yes, Assessor Alita Nally, who's also the vice president of the food pantry.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring a little additional comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're saving it for public
Oh,
comment.
sorry.
I apologize. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Please remember your comment for public comment.
Thank you.
Okay. If nothing from the board. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Mazzanzano,
Yes.
trustee Oppenheimer,
Yes.
trustee Pace,
Yes.
trustee Shack,
Yes.
trustee Spears,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. And then we have another non-binding, motion to approve resolution 05-02-2026. A resolution authorizing the submission of a non-binding advisory public policy question to the electors of Northfield Township on whether the township should consider exploring options for providing waste, refuse, and recycling collection services for unincorporated residents of Northfield Township at the general election to be held on November 3rd, 2026.
Again,
Motion.
I'd like to add that, motion on that, sorry.
Second.
Sorry.
Thank you. So with this one, again, it's just advisory. About a year ago, we had residents reach out to us because they kind of pretty much overnight, especially in unincorporated Norfolk, lost their waste refuse service because the village changed its service and they apparently were servicing the unincorporated areas too, but the village's new contract somehow didn't extend to include unincorporated area, which they have no responsibility to. The village doesn't have a responsibility to provide waste service to unincorporated areas. But it left many of our unincorporated residents without the waste service. So they reached out to us and they asked whether this is something that the township could engage in. And so this is just then, again, an advisory referendum for us to look into it. Because as a unit of government, we believe it's possible, there's obviously no promises that we could negotiate, because of economy of scale, a contract for the whole unincorporated areas in Glenview and in Northbrook, and maybe get more of a competitive rate that would help lower everyone's costs. There are other aspects to this. There are just environmental things and other considerations that have also been raised. Having 3 or 4 waste trucks going through your streets, different times of day, different days of the week. It puts wear and tear on the road, it's noise pollution, it's inefficient, and so it's just something for the township to consider offering as a service for unincorporated residents.
Yeah, I mean, as an unincorporated resident myself, I like this idea a lot. I live in Glenbrook countryside and there are always different trash trucks coming through. Not only is that a lot of wear and tear on the roads than just a single trash company coming through once a week, it's also my kids are outside and there's another trash truck coming through and, pretty much every day, somebody's got their trash out because they're all coming in at different times all week. So if the referendum shows that that's broadly an opinion that people share with me, I would be very interested in pursuing this as an unincorporated consumer of this service myself.
Supervisor Maslin.
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Trustee Pace.
Yes.
Trustee Shaw.
Yeah.
Trustee Spears.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Motion to approve Resolution 0503-2026, a resolution of the Township Board of Northfield Township, Cook County, Illinois, providing for and requiring the submission of a binding public question pursuant to 605 ILCS 5/6-133 to appear on the ballot of the electors of Northfield Township, Cook County, Illinois, at the November 3rd, 2026 general election.
Second.
Just to clarify, the binding question that would be on the referendum is, shall the road district of the Township of Northfield be abolished with all the rights, powers, duties, assets, property, liabilities, obligations, and responsibilities being assumed by the Township of Northfield? Yes or no? So this would be a binding referendum, and we are simply asking the opinion of township residents as to whether or not we need a separate road district, as opposed to having the township have a road department that would basically do all the services that the current road district provides, but the governance would be under the township and the board. Currently, the governance of the road district is under a road district, elected road district commissioner, which tends to be a part-time position, and the only accountability and oversight that the road district commissioner gets is on his bills when he presents them, and budget when he presents them to the township board. We audit those, and as you can see, there's a lot of back and forth on the legality of some of the charges, the appropriateness, and the board is very limited on what it can do, because the road district commissioner, the way it's set up in law, has no oversight and no accountability. Or very little oversight, no oversight, actually, except from residents, and very little accountability, except when it comes to us auditing his bills. And even in that regard, we are limited on what we can do. If he has budgeted for something and he spends that, we have to approve it.
So I'm guessing a lot of you are unincorporated residents are here tonight. So as an unincorporated resident, I want to emphasize one key thing about this: same services, better leadership. That's all this is. What we're proposing is to just take the district and make it into a department. All the people who plow your streets will still be plowing your streets. All the trucks they use to plow your streets will still plow your streets. All the funds they use to pave and plow your streets will still be used to pave and plow your streets. And that's why I'm able to get on board with this. I look at this as a consumer of those services, and I say to myself, this is better governance. We have 5 heads here who can then directly oversee the entire operation of the road district. Whereas as it's set up now, it's structurally impaired for us to do that. We struggle to really be able to help even a highway commissioner really run a clean shop, improve things as best as we can. There's a lot of brain power here, and we want to leverage that to make better roads and better use of the tax dollars in our community. And as an unincorporated resident myself, I'm very eager to see this change occur because I believe it will lead to better services for all of us. Some of you might have heard that the highway commissioner painted some lines at GBS, right? GBS is a separate taxing body. They had budgeted 12,000 for that. 25,000 was paid. And then there was legal issues around it, so legal fees involved. It's things like that. That 25,000 plus 5, 10, whatever it was in legal fees could have been spent on our roads. And it wasn't. It was spent on another taxing body without an agreement in place. It's those kinds of things that we as a board currently struggle to oversee. And I feel that if it's a road department instead of a road district with all the same resources, all the same team members, everything across the board, we will be able to provide better service for my own streets and probably all of those of you who are here to hear about this tonight. So that's where I stand on it, and I would be happy to talk to anybody who wants to get into this more, but I'll leave it at that for now and turn it right over to the board.
And I will just say, so the unincorporated area has 23 miles. We have 20, the road district has 23, about 21 to 23 miles of unincorporated roads. So that's a lot of roads that need to be maintained. We will, because the language we have to use in the statute is abolish. That doesn't mean that we're abolishing the road district and the services. The abolish is just to abolish the road district as a legal entity. And the only thing that will change for, if the referendum were to pass in November, the only thing that would change for unincorporated residents and basically the whole township, because the whole township votes on the road district commissioner, would be that come 2029, when the township board is up for reelection, there will be a road district commissioner to vote on. You'll just be voting for the board, which is overseeing the road department. Your services, everything will remain intact. Any construction project will continue as it has been. There's just want to assure unincorporated residents that there's no reason for concern about losing your services. You will not. We have a great crew at the road district. We have Wally as the foreman. The road district also provides some of the sanitary sewer services, of which I'm supervisor. So we need our road district crew. They'll be there and they'll continue to provide the great service that they do.
How is this gonna affect?
Sorry.
So we will have a public comment section once the board is done. And please state your comments for that time period.
Can I add further? I'm glad to see there's people here. This is about twice as many people as we normally see for. So I'm really glad everybody's here. This is the start of an education campaign to show, not just for this one, for all 3 referenda, again, educating about how this would impact the township the way that we see it. And it's up to the voters to decide what they want to do. One important point that I think keeps getting missed is that when would this actually go into effect? If the referendum passes in November, nothing changes until.
Right. So, once the board votes on this, if the board passes it, at that point, our role becomes just educational. We will be here to share information. We will have a page on our website that with the frequently asked questions that will explain what all of this means on all 3 referenda, but we cannot take a position in favor or against it. This is up to the voters on November 3rd to go and vote what we think is best. The referendum, the way the law is written, if the referendum passes, if the board passes this to put it on the referendum, if the referendum passes on November 3rd, it will take effect upon the completion of the term of the sitting highway commissioner. So meaning the current highway commissioner will have, at the time of the referendum passage, 2.5 years left on his term. So through 2029, I believe, when his term ends. And at the end of his term, the road district is abolished and it will become Northfield Township Road Department.
I think, if I may, one of the things that I want to mention too, and I appreciate Trustee Pace in your comments, especially living in unincorporated, and the confidence that I think we all have that services won't change. I think one of the things that is really important to all of us is efficient and effective government. And it's a small example, but I can give an example where For example, Northfield Township has an account with Sign Genius that the Northfield Township pays for. The road district also has an account with Sign Genius. It just is an example of ways that I believe from an administrative standpoint, there are efficiencies that can and should be had. And I think that that is another really important factor that we may not have discussed at this, at this table, but I did want to bring that up for the public as well.
There will definitely be some administrative streamlining.
Yes.
It's a unit of government being eliminated. How many people talk about how many units of government there are in Illinois? Right, that's all this does, is change one unit of government.
And the township will still, if the referendum passes, the township will be levying for road district services. And just so that everyone understands, the township currently has three different levies. We cannot commingle these levies. One levy for the town fund is going to be used for the town fund. A levy for special police district is used for unincorporated areas policing. For that, we can't take money from one levy and use it on something else. It's very specific. So once this referendum passes, the township, the road district levy budget, all of that falls on the township board. So whatever we levy for the road district will be used on roads in unincorporated areas of the township. So there's, by law, there's no transferring funds from one levy to the other or doing anything like that. It will all be separate. And the township already handles through the separate levies. No other questions from the board?
I would probably just add to trustee Ottenheimer's comment, which is, that's one small example, but I think the savings would be in the realm of tens of thousands, if not more. Just thinking about things like computer servers and email services and on and on and on. You start adding those up and you're easily into 5 digits, I think, no question. So I'm looking to see those savings transferred to my roads. I mean, that's where I want to go with this.
For the record, it's the best example I could think of at the time.
In all honesty, though, we had approached this topic several times during the last few years about consolidating, about trying to find efficiencies. You know, I think we were all sort of, and frankly, a lot of residents were curious as to why we duplicate so many services, whether they be accountants or lawyers or whatever. It really is a question of efficiency. And I think if you're more efficient and consolidated, at least in theory, and I think in practice, we will have a lot more transparency and be able to, you know, frankly, be more responsive and answer to, you know, residents' queries a lot faster. You know, right now, there are significant issues about getting answers, about, you know, tracing funds and everything. It is just, it's a huge drag on efficiency. It really is.
So I think we're ready.
Supervisor Mosenzada,
Yes.
trustee Ottenheimer,
Yes.
trustee Pace,
Yes.
trustee Shack,
Yes.
trustee Spears.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Um, Matters to be presented by the public. We are opening the floor for public comment. Public comments are limited to, is it 2 minutes? 3 minutes? 3 minutes, any member of the public would like.
Please just, when you speak, please state your name and town of residence.
Commander Bushing.
Yes. So morning, or I'm sorry, good afternoon, it's been a little bit. Couple things that are coming up that are gonna affect Northfield Township, is we're doing game night with the township. For some of the unincorporated residents that live in Northfield Township, and Salem Walk Apartments, and we're partnering with District 31 and District 35. We did that last year, so we have that set up for the 3rd of June. We've also had the sheriff's police, we've been partnering with, many of the jurisdictions. We did a roadside last week with Morton Grove, over on Dempster and Harlem, which included the sheriff's police, Glenview, Morton Grove, and Niles. And we screened about 754 cars, 307 were, diverted for secondary. We did issue about 189 tickets, which was 12% less than we did last year. We had 9 more arrests, one of them being for, a PCS involving cocaine and manufacturing and delivery. So, we did tow a number of cars, at that location. We've been working on our driving enforcement initiative. We just finished up distracted driving to honor Ron Prohaska, who was, unfortunately in 2019, on August 18th, was helping his ex-wife and was killed by a distracted driver. So we contacted all of the agencies in our area, and they have, allowed us to work with officers in their areas during overlap times, which is about 30 hours between Tuesday and Wednesday, to go and focus on people driving distractedly, which is very, very dangerous. It causes, when we did this last year, we did distracted driving, and now we moved into directed enforcement. And directed enforcement, if anybody doesn't know what that is, affects the fatal four, which is driving without a seatbelt, DUIs, speeding, and distracted driving. When we did this at the end of the year, when I did the numbers, we had a 75% reduction in personal injury accidents. So you will continue to see the sheriff police. We have brought this back out, and now many of the jurisdictions, including Glenview and Niles and Northbrook and Northfield, we're going there for 2 weeks in a row, have now actually gotten their IDOT officer to work when we're there. And we hope to continue to see, if I don't see a reduction, I went from having 251 personal injury accidents to 51. Yeah, which meant that 75% of that time, of those accidents that didn't have personal injuries, we didn't have to block the road. We didn't have to send people to the hospital. We were able to get those, if they were property damage accidents, they really didn't change. We were able to get those off the roadway into a safer location and actually go ahead and, conduct the investigation on a property damage accident as opposed to sending people to the hospital. And we all know that once those airbags go off in the cars, generally they're gonna tow them because it's gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
If we can avoid those things, that's what we're working to do. So those are some of the things that are going on from the sheriff's police aspect, and that's one of the reasons I come to these meetings, so that I can share what we're doing in these areas, and then, yes, you're gonna see us. We have been very successful with a new application when people, I can't say this enough, we had somebody that got lost from one of the nursing homes. If you have someone in your family that is, suffering from dementia or whatever, I can strongly suggest that, how you monitor them. We had one that was late last year, I think you knew who that was, got lost and they had ear tags in their shoes. And we were able to, they didn't have there are certain different ones, I can't tell you how they work. Some of them have longer distances. We were able to finally hit one of the air tags and found their shoes alive. We had a recent incident that somebody got lost and we didn't find him for a week. When I saw the picture, I go, I know who that is. He did not have air tags. Fortunately, he was deceased. So it's those kinds of things that we use, as well as this new Rave app that we have that everybody likes to text. I didn't realize how exciting it is to get a text from someone we don't know and you answer it. And it's awesome. And then you know where you are. So we're using those applications to locate people and to do those things, as well as we're using the access of flock cameras that you've seen in the area. Because those advantages help us solve crime and locate people that get lost. So those are some of the things that we have coming up. We appreciate your partnership and the partnership and the support of all the people that live in unincorporated Northfield Township. So that's what I think.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about the
It's great.
Thank you. It's, I'm really looking forward. We did the event with Trevor Walk Children last year when we hosted them, the District 31 actually, and at the downstairs, and the sheriff's office provided pizza and the officers came and played games with the kids, and it was just a lot of fun. We also had the Ella, the
Bloodhound.
the bloodhound who helps sheriff's office locate missing people. So it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Any other public comments? Yes, sir. Please state your name and where you live.
My name is Tom Berry, I live in unincorporated Northbrook. I have 2 comments. One is on the waste consolidation. I've been sending emails back and forth with our former road commissioner, Tim Rucker, about doing that. They didn't really have the authority to do it, but maybe the township, maybe, or the county. And I sent them Lake County has everything on their website. They did the same thing. There's townships that they put out to bid, refuse and collection. There was a lot of unincorporated Lake County that still didn't have it because the townships didn't think they had the authority to take bids. Eventually, the county did all unincorporated areas. They split it up. There's 3 refuse companies, Chicago, Group, Waste Management, and they each got a section of Lake County.
Hmm.
Is how they did it. So they didn't pick anyone, but they each got a section, I think similar population. My other comment is on abolishing the road district. I know that the law says there's a tax reduction that comes with that. And it has to be like 10% of the road district budget, you know, what I don't. There's some amount in the law as a mandatory tax reduction. It's to encourage getting the road district abolished. I just want to make sure that you can cover that. I'm in favor of it personally, but I just want to make sure if it passes, you can cover it.
We will look into it. I haven't heard that, but we will look into it.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a township, Michigan and Pennsylvania. Thank you. Any other comments?
I'm sorry, hiding in the back. My name is Dana Doffin and I live in unincorporated Glenview. I have to read my notes and me and my readers are best friends. Okay. I'm sure you know for our small section of Northfield Township, your services are really not what we have access to. If we had to try and get services through Cook County, it would be laughable if they even exist. I've heard more than once that as a governmental body, you serve all of Northfield Township. This I recognize, and in my opinion and experience, the road district gives exceptional service, and quite frankly, it's a shame that they don't serve the entire area. If they did, we would be the envy of North Shore. In addition, their willingness to be the eyes and ears of our community, alerting the county when a building project appears to be doing something that is a risk to our area, is well known. The road district has also been our link to the MWRD project slated for Central Road, which directly affects my home, that has been flooded more than 3 times. We had national flood insurance because of it. I just want to say thank you very much to Wally and Pat, because to be quite frank, without them, we'd be toast and we wouldn't have anything left. They're exceptional.
I've never seen Wally blush.
Thank you. We do have a great road district crew and foreman. Very fortunate. Any other comments? Vice President Allen, did you want to say something before, or have you?
I could say it as a public disappointment, my assessor, hi, everybody, I live in Alley, I'm assessor of Northfield Township. I'm a resident and I'm also vice president of food pantry. So I wanted to just let the referendum about providing the prepared meals we talk about. That's been a real big effort from the Chicago Food Depository. They built a 28,000 square foot facility about a few years ago, recognizing that need with our most vulnerable population to be able to give them a meal that they can eat rather than just giving them maybe a butternut squash or a bag of rice and a pound of hamburger and saying, here, go at it, right? We all eat differently today, right? So getting that and kind of engaging whether that's something to get engaging, because that's going to require us maybe changing some of our refrigeration and things like that. Is that something we want to move forward with as a township, as a food pantry, as you know, which is so well needed in this area? I mean, we have about 38% of our population of the food pantry clients are senior citizens. So it's not something we're kind of just pulled out of the air. The Greater Chicago Food Depository is moving in that direction. So being an agent, we just want to see should we follow them in that direction.
Thank you. There's no other comments from here. Do we have any from the website? Okay. Okay. Is there any old business? Any new business? Okay. Assessor now, if you could please provide your assessor's report.
I get a double header. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Assessor Lita Nally and Township Assessor. I'm here to help you with any property tax issues and questions that you have. Please come and see me. Exemptions right now, don't forget about your exemptions. Make sure you get your homeowner, your senior, your disabled veteran, your senior freeze, all that. If you have any questions about that, just reach out to me. You can email me, you can text me. Pick up the phone and call us to make sure you get all your exemptions. The deadline right now is May 15th, so that's coming up to get money for 2025 tax. So I recognize a lot of faces here, so I'm glad to see you all coming in. Water review results did come out. We got them last week. So we're very excited about that. We'll be calculating how much money we save residents. I like to prove my worth at the end of the day. So what we do is we take all the results and we calculate what we was before, what it is now, and estimate how much we save the residents. So looking forward to doing that. And then another appeal window will be coming up probably in June, maybe July. So if you're all questioned, if you don't think your value looks right, it's not equitable, once again, come and see us and we'll make sure we can do an appeal for you. Okay, always here to help. Nice to see everybody this evening. Sorry, get my back.
Road District Commissioner Corbin would normally provide report, but he hasn't been attending meetings for the town meeting, so skip that. Administrator Curcio.
Hi, good evening. Couple things for the board. I just want to remind everyone that the township officials of Cook County's spring summer conference is coming up on June 18th. The last day you can RSVP is the 20th of May. So if you are interested in attending, let me know, because I think there's a couple staff are going to be attending, and I'll just do register everyone at the same time. So if you can let me know next week, that would be great. Or the end of this week, that'd be great.
I will be attending and I will be hosting new laws affecting the township for
Breakout session. In looking over some of our bills, I was noticing we still have Elevate service for the board members, which is our telephone service. So if anyone's not using it, we can get rid of it. We'd love to do that. The same is for Trustee Ottenheimer. Also let me know about that, because then we can take it off our phone bill and get rid of those. Just to update, Supervisor Mozenzada, Bill, our facilities manager, and I met with Mark Toll from Dan Creaney's office. They, if you remember, when we put in sensors to do settlement studies on the retaining walls. And so they've done a study since October through April. So we got the results. There is movement on both the north and south walls. You're kind of hoping maybe not, but there is. So Mark Toll is going to be providing and has provided some information on potential materials we could use, different than, if you remember, when we had originally thought we were going to do this when the pantry construction was done, the poured concrete walls and the expense. So their recommendation is to use Ready Rock, which are basically giant Lego blocks that would then be put in place. And they showed us pictures and stuff, and we're going to put a proposal together because it is something we're going to have to look at doing. We have an opinion of cost, a preliminary opinion of cost from Creaney's office, looking at about almost 270 to 300,000, but he's waiting. Mark was reaching back out to WB Olson to get some quotes that they had gotten initially when we were going out to bid. But it would also mean, because it would be both retaining walls, we would then have to do the work on the ramp to bring it up to current code, as well as the patio. So it would be the whole west area. So just putting that on your radars, I'll have more information for you on those things. And also, we're going to be deactivating Google accounts on the 29th of this month. So please make sure you can get into Microsoft 365, and any files that you had saved on your Google My Drive, you can access through OneDrive on Microsoft. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Communication and Outreach Coordinator, last but not least, Roxanne.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just wanted to briefly mention we're having the start of summer's coming up, so we'll have our typical summer events that the township and the food pantry participate in. So I'll be getting some invites out to board members and staff and see if folks want to help attend some events coming up. A big one coming up, which is a little bit earlier this year, is Summerfest in Glenview, which is that really big street fair, and then Summerfest after sunset. That's actually June 13th this year. So it's a little bit earlier than towards the end of the month. So I'll send information about those events, as they come up. I'm still working on hiring a summer intern. Very fortunate to begin that process again and just going through, application materials now and then, starting to interview. So hopefully we can make a hire within the next few weeks to get somebody started and rolling through the summer for us. And last thing I wanted to just a brief update about is, Assessor Nally / Vice President Nally has been helping with the Food Pantry Advisory Board / Working Committee. That's taking on some different projects with the food pantry, and we're very happy to report that's been going swimmingly. We actually had a few prospective members sit in on that committee today with great ideas and great feedback. So we're really looking forward to get that rolling in conjunction with the food pantry strategic plan. I think that was all I had.
Thank you very much. Okay. Nothing else? Need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
On in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourns at 7:07.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.